Alright, today is Wednesday, May 29th, 2014. This is my first garden video. This is mainly for us to use as a video diary to keep track of how things are going for next year and the year after. But we're hoping that anyone who watches it will also enjoy it, and that if anyone has any tips or information, they could share with us too. So anyway, here's the garden. If you're looking for videos on pretty gardens, you're in the wrong place, but it works for us. I'm going to walk through and talk about each of the things that we're growing and how they're doing so far. So let's start this way. This is our chicken coop, and we don't currently have any chickens. We're getting ready to get some more. Well, we do have chickens, but they're just currently in the freezer. Hoping to get more soon. But anyway, we've got two tubs here. These guys are sunflowers, and I believe they're mammoth sunflowers, so they're going to get really big heads. We did some sunflowers last year that got really tall but didn't have big heads, so we wanted to have some bigger ones this year. So these are mammoth sunflowers. Down here we have some sort of wildflower that we got as a free seed packet when we ordered our seeds this year. We ordered most of our seeds from Baker Creek Seeds. It's rareseeds.com. They have an awesome selection of all organic, GMO free seeds. We also got some from Johnny's Selected Seeds, and I think the website maybe is johnnys.com. I'm not sure, but it's Johnny's Selected Seeds. And when you get an order, when you place an order with most of these people, they'll send you some free stuff. So these are just some free wildflowers that we planted. You'll see some random corn stalks through here. I thinned out my corn and really couldn't bear to throw them away, so I just tried transplanting some, and they actually are living, which is good because I've had some accidents in my corn and I've had to transplant. So same thing over in this bin: sunflowers, random corn, and wildflowers. Okay, to the garden. A couple more pots. This is an eggplant, and this is Black Beauty eggplant. It's kind of just your standard eggplant, the kind that you'd see in the grocery store, kind of oblong, egg-shaped, almost black. That's the blossom, which is really pretty. They put off lots of blossoms. So we've got one of those here and one here. This is my corn patch. These seeds came from Johnny's, and it is called Jerry Peterson Blue Corn. They produce 7 to 8 inch ears on 7-foot plants, and this is a flour corn, so this is not going to be something we eat as sweet corn. We're going to dry it and grind it into cornmeal. Over here is the sweet corn, which I planted later. I planted this later to try to avoid cross-pollination with such close quarters here. I didn't want them to cross, so hopefully they won't. I can't remember the name of this, but I actually bought these just at like Home Depot as seeds, just some sort of sweet corn. All right, we're gonna go into the garden. Alright, these big guys are these are pumpkins, actually. Big plants doing very well. You can see the leaves are really big. This plant here, actually it's probably 3 or 4 plants in the hill, and there's another hill here. These are New England sugar pie pumpkins. They're sort of the small, round, orange pumpkins that most people use to make pumpkin puree for pumpkin pies, which is why we're growing them. Doing very well. They're starting to really climb. You can see they're starting to reach out to different parts of the garden. I'm probably going to try to build a trellis for them to go up to avoid them strangling other things. These two hills here are smaller, but doing very well. This is another pumpkin. It's called Jarrahdale. That's Jarrahdale. The pumpkins are like a grayish silver blue. They're about 6 to 10 pound fruits, and they come from Australia. So they're also apparently very tasty, but more ornamental than kind of the orange ones. Alright, so over here we have all of our summer squash. These two rows here are called Flying Saucer Patty Pan squash. We got these from Johnny's. I'm going to try to show you the blossoms so you can see how these grow. Okay. This is a female blossom, and it has the little tiny squash on it that's very small, and then you can see, this blossom is the male blossom, the male flower. It doesn't have a fruit on it, and that's how they pollinate. I hope I'm getting all that right. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. But that's the patty pan. This is Black Beauty Zucchini, and you can see once again this is the female blossom, and then you have the male blossom here that doesn't have the fruit on it. Over here is yellow summer squash, but this variety, let's see, what is it called? It's called Rugosa friulana, and it is from northeastern Italy, and it's the kind that you would find in markets in Venice. It's basically a yellow summer squash, but it is warded, so it's got bumps on it. It's not smooth like most yellow summer squash. So that's a new one this year for us. Alright, I'll take you over here to the peppers. So I've got 3 rows of peppers. This row here on the right are actually from seeds that I saved, and I'd like to do another video soon about saving seeds. But those are red Marconi peppers. They're very long red bell peppers. Then this row, this middle row, has 2 kinds of peppers, and to be honest with you, I forget which ones are which, but half of the row is called albino bullnose. It's a bell pepper that is almost white until the very end when it matures to like an orangish color, but most people harvest them white, so it's kind of an interesting looking bell pepper. Ignore the weeds, sorry. The other half of the row is called Islander bell pepper. I bought those from Johnny's, and it's a very bright purple bell pepper. All peppers either turn basically orange or red when they're fully ripe, but you pick these right before they get ripe. It's why green peppers are cheaper than red peppers, because when you go to the grocery store and buy a red bell pepper, it has to sit on the plant for longer than the green ones. Alright, this row here, that plant, and those other 2 down there are purple jalapenos. Last year we grew black Hungarian jalapenos, and we did really well with those. I think this is a little bit lighter purple, so we wanted to try that. I'm going to try to show you the blossoms. Really pretty white and purple blossom. Then down here at the end, these 2 plants are Tabasco peppers, so we've got some hot peppers there. Okay. Over here we have Clemson spineless okra, and I cheated on these and bought seedlings from Home Depot. So first time growing okra, we'll see how they do. It took a while for them to catch on once they were planted, but they're starting to do very well. Alright, tomatoes. These tomatoes in the cages, all of these tomatoes were grown from seed inside. We started them probably mid-February, and these tomatoes are called Hungarian Heart. They're an ox heart type tomato. I've got one growing. I'm going to try to show you. There it is. They're fairly large ox heart shaped tomatoes. These are for paste and sauce, but all of the tomatoes can be eaten sliced as well. So anyway, those are Hungarian Heart. The other tomatoes we have on rows. This row is called Pantano Romanesco. It's from Italy, obviously. The seeds were sent, I guess, to Baker Creek. I don't know if they're exclusive on those, but it's another sauce tomato. This row is an interesting tomato. It's called Solar Flare, and I bought it from Baker Creek, but it was grown at Wild Boar Farms. They're known for creating really interesting, different colored tomatoes. This is going to be a red tomato with yellow streaks through it, so I'm pretty excited about that. Mainly going to be for slicing. These last two rows are Mortgage Lifter tomatoes. Mortgage lifters are very common with people that grow tomatoes. I like the story because these were started in Logan, West Virginia, I think back in the 30s, maybe 30s or 40s. My grandparents are from Logan, West Virginia, and it's called Mortgage Lifter not because of the size, but because the man that created this variety sold so many tomatoes that he was able to pay off his mortgage within a year or two, I guess. I'm not sure, but they're very large beefsteak type tomatoes. Alright, over here are my beans. I've got both bush beans and pole beans. You can see here. This first TP is interesting. These are called judiones, and when I studied in Spain, we had a dish in Segovia where I lived that was native to that region called judiones de la granja, and it's a dish made with very, very large white beans. And so last year I ordered a bag of dried judiones from, I think, La Española Meats, which sells food from Spain, but I bought a bag which are, were for cooking, and I saved some and planted them last year and only got 5 beans from last year. So I saved those 5 beans. I planted them this year. I had 100% germination, so I'm hoping I'll be able to have more judiones and have some American Spanish beans. So we'll see. This TP and that TP are called Old Homestead or Kentucky Wonder. Just a regular green bean, and they're doing pretty well. Some are starting to grasp on. Funny, the extra beans, I soak my beans before I plant them, and I had extra that after they're soaked you can't keep them anymore, so I just threw them along the edge of the fence here, and they're actually doing just as well, if not better, than the others. Alright. I wasn't very happy with my bush beans this year because I just had pieces that didn't come up, but this row is called Blue Bush, or Blue Lake, I think. We did these last year. I didn't save seeds, but we did them last year and we're pretty happy with them. You can see we don't have any beans yet, but we'll have them soon. This is the blossom. Pretty. This is my really sad second row that didn't really do anything, so I'm going to have to replant here soon. This row, which did a great job, is called Roma 2, and they're the flat, wide green bean, sort of the Italian style green bean. And this is the second row, and it didn't come up very well either, so every other row did well. Alright, on to cucumbers. So far, my cucumbers haven't been doing very well, but I think that maybe it's just not even hot enough yet. This hill, and that hill there, and that hill are Boston pickling, so you pick them small. They're small cucumbers that you pick to pickle. Alright. These are looking a little better, and I think it's because they get more sun. That hill and that hill are Marketmore 76 regular slicing cucumbers. Alright, this row of plants, more winter squash. These are buttercup, bush buttercup, so most squash grow like the pumpkins I showed you on sort of vining plants, but this is a bush style. They grow 3 to 4 feet wide, the plants do. So we'll give these a try this year. I don't know if you can see, once again, the tiny blossoms with the little tiny, I think it's going to be too blurry, but you can see they cluster there. Last year, along this fence, we grew bottle gourds, and we have a volunteer that came up, and so I'm just going to let that grow. They produce gourds that you can eat or dry. And then this row, which hasn't done a great job, these are, let's see, table queen, acorn squash. Once again, these are bush plants like the buttercups. So most acorn squash grow in vining, branching out plants, and these are bush. Had some germination problems. This is sort of at the back of my garden, so not that my soil's great anywhere, but this is probably the least fertile. So I've got some plants there. I don't know what happened here in the middle, but I replanted and they've come up, so that's fine. And some more there, and I'll probably have to thin these down a little bit. This one has a really good blossom. You can see the tiny acorn squash there. And that's basically it for this part of the garden. We've got some other things I'm going to show you that are not in the main garden, but